Just in terms of what we've seen in the last 24 hours, we've seen, it seems, China attempting to spell out to the US that we can cause real pain to your economy now, with the details around the rare earths, the travel advisory as well. We've had the blacklist as well in the last few days, the FedEx investigation. Is there a risk that China oversteps?
Absolutely. And so I think in China leadership's mind, what they're actually, all these measures are really meant for the domestic audience. So this is really part of the domestic propaganda push to say, listen, we still have tools to go after the U.S. Of course, they do want to send a message to the U.S. as well. But I think if you look at these developments individually, it's funny because they're all quite carefully crafted, right? So rare earths meant to match the Huawei ban. The travel advisory, is kind of a unique thing in and of itself. But the tariffs over the weekend meant to, of course, match U.S. tariffs. And so individually, it seems that they're being very careful not to escalate. But exactly as you say, you put all of this together, and I think they may be doing an unintended escalation by having a spate of measures all quite close together.
Yeah, they're certainly walking a fine line, aren't they? We've also had the lines out that Yi Gang, the PBOC governor, and Steve Mnuchin will be meeting at the G20. Is that significant, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, any dialogue at this stage is good. Any chance to, de-escalate, we should definitely welcome. Although I'll say, if that takes place in lieu of a Trump-Xi meeting, then it's certainly bad, because I think at this state we're at a stage where you have to have that head of state meeting to really get everyone back to the table in a credible way.
Andrew, you mentioned about this travel advisory, and we've seen ones like this before in the past. Obviously, South Korea was one that we saw recently, which really hit the economy quite significantly then. How effective is using tourism, I should say, as an economic weapon?
Well, this is a tough one to sort of forecast, because it's been quite effective, as you say, in the past with smaller economies, like with South Korea. And it's also one of those where the Chinese government doesn't really have to put in actual regulations, right? They can sort of issue these bans, and people kind of understand what the government wants, and also there's a bit of a nationalistic kind of idea that there's like, well, because of these tensions, we are going to boycott this country. But with the U.S., it's just so big, and there's, people do want to send their kids to be educated there. People do want to go travel there, that it's hard to see it being as broadly effective as it was with, say, South Korea.